Vision. It is UCTV News and I am Sunday Gloria Aboch. Now, traders under their umbrella body, Kampala City Traders Association Kasita, have tasked the Uganda Revenue Authority URA to halt its operations regarding the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution EFRIS until there has been enough sensitization among the traders. This has been disclosed by Kasita chairperson Dr. Thaddeus Musoke Nagenda after a confidential meeting with trade leaders at their head office in Kampala today, as Joseph Kabale reports.
EFRIS refers to the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which entails the use of electronic fiscal devices, e-invoicing, or direct communication with the business transaction systems to manage the issuance of e-receipts and e-invoices. With EFRIS, once a transaction is initiated using any of the solution's components, the details are transmitted to URA in real time to generate e-receipts and e-invoices. Following the meeting where journalists were denied access, Kasita traders demanded that URA suspends the EFRIS system and vowed not to cooperate with it until there has been sufficient sensitization about the system amongst the traders.
We have totally resolved to not to cooperate with URA until enough sensitization is done about EFRIS. So we appeal to URA to stop the operations. They are inconveniencing the business community. Let URA sensitize. Let URA sensitize to make sure that our members analyze and understand the essence of EFRIS.
Nagenda went ahead and disclosed that they have resolved to hold meetings with concerned authorities and stakeholders to address the traders' plight, including high taxation, unfair rental fees, among others.
We are going to meet the landlords. I've been tasked to contact them. We are going to have a special session with the landlord and even to critically analyze the challenge which the traders are complaining right now that the landlords are demanding for VAT. So with that meeting for the landlord is going to harmonize that challenge.
The Kasita chairperson for Wakiso District, Susan Nanyonjo, implored URA to carry out sensitization programs among the traders, as she added that many traders don't have knowledge about the EFRIS system.
So they wanted to get sensitization on the tax code EFRIS. Most of the people about EFRIS, they are not contented with even the definition of it. They are just seeing things coming, programs that we need to pay EFRIS. So we call the government to come, or the URA people, to come to Wakiso and also all over the district where they are paying this taxation, to come and sensitize our people.
Joseph Kabale, UCTV News.
Following the high-level meeting held last week between representatives of the Kampala City Traders Association Kasita and officials from the Ministry of Finance, including the Permanent Secretary Ramandan Gobi and URA Commissioner General John Musinguzi, significant concerns were raised regarding unfair tax assessments and the increasing presence of Chinese nationals in the retail sector. Tonight, we delve deeper into the outcomes of this meeting and the resolutions put forth by technocrats to address these pressing issues. UCTV talked to Issa Sechito, providing insightful challenges Kasita is lobbying the government to tackle amidst the struggling business sector.
Foreign petty traders is one of the issues that have been harassing us. Indeed, it was not only for petty trading, but also even opening shops, small shops, yet these people are the manufacturers. It was evident that the investment code requirements do not allow people to deviate from the licenses they got to manufacture and then go into distribution of any nature. Every arrangement needs to be done such that they have a showroom where people go and see their products and then they buy them for the market, not them vending them. And the Ministry of Finance agreed that this is not allowed, and the government is going to get to the ground In fact, they have already gotten to the ground because the Ministry of Trade and Industry, KCCA, and the other local government authorities have met to see how they are going to enforce, to see that all the foreigners doing business here are doing it legally according to what tools or licenses they got to operate. This is very tangible, and we think we are going to follow up after 2 weeks from the date we set this to know how much this has been achieved. Definitely, if there is anything outside the country that is affecting anybody, the world is a village. Definitely, you don't know where the goods that come to Mombasa or Dar es Salaam pass. You don't know how many people do the reductions in the importation and travel of these goods. Although it is not very physical that we have been able to quantify how much we are affected, but psychologically and practically, there must be some negative aspect of it. Somebody somewhere might have refused to release the goods to move, and this causes some shortage of a kind. It is not yet felt physically that we can tell you how much volume we have lost as a result of these attacks, but I think soon we shall be able to document this and state how much we have lost as a result. It is very unfair, and people must know that Uganda is signatory to the WTO GATT Evaluation Agreement, where we must be adhering to the rules of the game. What has been hampering and disturbing us is the way Uganda is valuing textiles and garments.
And it's that issue that has brought.
Yeah, so the garments and textiles, we agreed as East Africa, according to the East African Customs Management Act, Schedule 4, that the climax, the highest that Uganda is allowed to charge, or any member of the East African community, is 35% CET or import duty for all this. Uganda, unfortunately, is levying in kilos. So we asked the government, Minister of Finance and URA, to remove anything that is being weighed in kilos, yet for us we buy in pieces. So this, yeah, they had removed, but there is a list of 47 lines, which they think is protecting the local industries, which is not so true, because it is very, very minimal. What is being produced here does not even reach 3%. So if they want people to pass naked, this is not the purpose. So we agreed that this is going to be reduced, the list of 47. Minister of Finance is working on removing whatever is affecting the business community in this sector, so that we all do as we agreed as East Africans, that it is 35% CET, common external tariff, for all the garments and textiles we purchase from outside East Africa. You pay 35%. If you pay 3.5 per kilogram, it multiplies like 4 times. A container that would be paying, for example, 150 millions goes to over 450 millions, and this is what is causing the challenge. Minister of Finance agreed, and in under 10 days, we are receiving feedback. If it goes beyond this, we shall again call the meeting of traders. We see what to do next. But we hope that the government is going to do the needful and remove those items that are causing us the havoc in this, and we charge as East Africans agreed to. No, import substitution is a good strategy, but it should be realistic. Uganda cannot think they can produce bicycles more than China. They cannot produce motorcycles. They cannot produce vehicles. They cannot produce so many things, telephones. Whichever Uganda wants to produce should be mainly food related, because that's where we have the comparative advantage. So if we do not have the comparative advantage in these other productions, they are only becoming a disservice if you concentrate on thinking. The world only sees you relevant if you can buy from them and they buy from you. Whether you have raw materials, let them buy the raw materials. If you have finished goods in that aspect, drinks, coffee, tea, all this, we have a comparative advantage. We can concentrate more on that, but you cannot produce any better vehicles than Japan. So why do you waste time in thinking you are going to produce the cars here? This is not believing in value addition. So we think that we must do value addition, buy Uganda and build Uganda, but also we must be cognizant of the fact that the world became a global village. I buy from you, you buy from me.
John De West's Arico has signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Resistance Movement Party following a court decision on the 13th of February that annulled the election of Captain Juvenile Omara as the LC5 chairperson of Abim district. The court ruled that John De West Arico, who contested independently against Omara, be officially declared the winner of the election and assume office immediately. Now, while signing the memorandum at the NRM party offices on Chadondo Road, John De West asserted that this was to express his recommitment to the NRM party, of which he was already a member.
To the chairman of the incoming chairman of Abim district, who is recommitting himself to serve the
is a wider issue. You cannot singly.
There was that gap. We never wanted an opposition candidate to take the benefit of that gap and petition court and throw away our flag bearer. So it was a family arrangement. I was brought in at the last moment, and by the way, the petition was not the first petition to Electoral Commission was not by me. It was done by some other voters. Dialogue, peace talks with our brothers from the other side. We shall involve the Council of Elders. We talk with the elders from the other side so that our people can stay in harmony and
what we do to formalize their recommittal to the party and the interests of the party and be bound by the constitution of the party. We carry out, we undertake to sign a memorandum of understanding with them, such that because the law requires that if one is independent, therefore he is independent of any party and independent of each other. But this time around, when we sign a memorandum, that means he officially recommits himself to the party and he's bound by party positions and he's bound by the party constitution and he's ready to implement, in this case, as a chairman LOC5, to implement the NRM manifesto in Abim district. So that's what this memorandum means, and we want to thank you for coming to have the memorandum of understanding signed with the NRM party.
I call a meeting, we sat together as a family. We say, now you can see what court has done. It was not anybody's fault. It was still the system we have put in place. This was part of organizing the country. Putting structures in place is part of organizing the country. No wonder you can see this result. Overturning our own. Overturning our own system overturns our own. And as NRM, we respect. Even him, he respected. We sat together, we have reconciled as a family. We are now working together. After now here, we shall go to the village. Tomorrow, we are going to have another meeting. We are calling elders. We are going to come together as a family and move together. So SG, the district is stable.
And then to other news, local leaders in Kampala have called upon the government to take up the responsibility of garbage collection in slum areas if the city is to maintain good sanitation conditions. The leaders owe the garbage disposal problem to the high costs on garbage collection by the Kampala Capital City Authority levied on slum dwellers who cannot afford the high cost of garbage collection. Now, Nora Osinde visited one of the slums in Kampala and brings us the details to this story.
This is in Zambia's central Mugwanya zone, one of the slum areas in the heart of Kampala. Just a walkable distance to the city center, the area has an immense challenge of garbage disposal and collection. With garbage littered everywhere, some clogging the drainages, it is a challenge that local leaders owe to the high prices levied by KCCA on garbage collection. Nangai Gaison, the General Secretary of Buyondo Zone, says government should take up the responsibility of garbage collection if good sanitation is to be maintained in Kampala.
We are talking about the local people, the slum people who cannot afford to pay for garbage. These private companies are now collecting garbage, but they collect for rich people. You are asking someone 5,000 a month. Most of our people down here cannot afford that money per month. Most of them are sleeping in houses for 15,000 per month. How do you expect them to pay for garbage? The government and KCCA was supposed to maintain its responsibility of collecting garbage. We don't know where the tax that we pay go, because tax for collected here is supposed to collect garbage and clean the city.
Omugotteko buli muntu akola kyayagala kati abantu kizibu nnyo okubeera nti ayinza okukontrolinga kasasiro nti ajja mukuuma bajje bamutwala ate era ne bwamukuuma talina gy'amuteeka. So tusaba gavumenti etuyambe awamu ne KCCA batukwasizeeko batuyambe okuba nti wakiri mu mwezi emmotoka ejjemu emirundi 3 kasasiro asobole okuba nga akola ki nga akendeera mu bantu kuba sinzaga nti bayinza omumalawo naye abeere nga akendeera. Nja kwebazaako mpozi lumu ekitongole ky'Abakatuliki ekisomesa abaana ebyemikono kyajja wano mu kitundu kyaffe nga bakwasaganyiza wamu ne kansala waffe kansala Siraaje ne kansala Tukunda Harriet ne bajja ne batwala kasasiro oyo ne baleeta emmotoka ne batwala kasasiro naye ng'omukono gwali guteekeddwamu Abakatuliki b'Ensambya ekyo tubeebaze.
The challenges that come with poor garbage disposal affects everyone in the community. The garbage is littered everywhere, on the roads, water channels, and this poses a threat to the community in terms of diseases and so much more.
Abaana bano bolaba abato tolina b'obakontrolinga bakwata mu bikyafu ebyo ne bavaako ne batandika okusesema okuddukana ne bafuna endwadde ez'enjawulo ng'ate n'abantu bennyini ssente tebaziina. Kitegeeza nti kasasiro singa afiibwako omuntu abadde afulumya ssente okusinziira ku famire ye bw'eba erwadde zijja kuba ssente tezigenda ate ajja kuba ng'afuna akasente akasobola okugulya abantu emmere. Naye mu butuufu abantu baffe mu bitundu byaffe baavu nnyo.
Embeera ya kasasiro etuyisa bubi nnyo olw'ensonga nti we tuli emmotoka ekomako wagguluko netatuuka eno waffe ate ekifo kye tulimu abantu bangi nnyo tebalina we basuula kasasiro. So weesanga nga buli ku makya olw'ensonga nti tetulina mmotoka etwala kasasiro, abantu buli omu bw'aba agenda ku mulimu atuuza ku kkubo mu kakoona ku bikomera ne tuba ne kasasiro mungi nnyo. Ensonga y'obuyonjo neeba nga nzibu nnyo mu kitundu kyaffe.
Improper garbage disposal causes pollution of air, soil and water, while indiscriminate dumping of waste contaminates surface and groundwater supplies. In urban areas, solid waste clogs drains, creating stagnant water for the insects breeding and floods during the rainy season. Amutunjire Stefani tells us more about the common diseases she treats due to poor sanitation and garbage disposal in her area.
We have malaria parasites, infection, and urinary tract infection. Children, we have cough, flu, plus dysentery and infection.
The leaders called on responsibility of garbage disposal to be part of the governments. However, it is important for individuals to dispose their trash properly to help reduce on the pollution in the environment. Nora Osende, UCTV News.
The Ugandan Parliament has launched a public consultation onto the Anti-Counterfeit Goods Bill 2023 to combat economic collapse and protect legitimate businesses. The launch was held at Parliament in a press conference led by Asman Basalirwa, the Bujiri Municipality Member of Parliament, and Bwalu Jonathan, the Soroti West City representative, who brought the bill to Parliament.
So we want to formally inform you that since we were granted leave, we've been able to panel beat the draft of the bill, and I can now confirm that we are ready to proceed to the House because we now have the bill fully worked on, and it is here with us. Now the second phase, and why we want to inform you, is that we are going to another phase that will further enrich this bill. These have been our views and ideas at the level of the movers and secondary.
Anywhere 6 to 10 trillion is being lost in counterfeits. This is because every sector of the economy is affected. Many of you, while coming here, you must have hit a pothole. But every time you hit a pothole, you just know that's a counterfeit or substandard. Either bitumen or lime or whatever, or culverts, it is substandard. So the magnitude of the problem and its cost might be bigger than we think. Several years ago, UNBS said about 54% of all products in the market were counterfeit. But that was 5 years ago. If they did another survey, it might be 70 or 80%. So the cost is very huge. But also globally, I would like to tell you that some research shows that about 3% of world trade globally is in counterfeits and substandard. Now, world trade is $27 trillion. 3-4% of that is more than 5 trillion, is about $3-4 trillion. So it's huge.
The day I went to a pharmacy, I had headache. The pharmacist got for me 4 types of Panadol and told me this one, they were packed 10 in each. They told me this one is 1,000, they were 10. Another one was 5,000. Another one was 10,000. And then there was one that was called extra. They were selling it at 15,000. You can imagine 4 different types of Panadol, and then we are consuming. That clearly shows you that we have counterfeit not only in our houses, we have counterfeit in the pharmacies, we have these counterfeit products everywhere. It's a very important piece of legislation. We want to call upon you members of the press, support us in any way you can so that this information reaches the farthest part of the country. Counterfeit, like my senior brother said, counterfeit products are everywhere. You go to supermarket, you go to the pharmacies, you go everywhere we find the counterfeit. Unfortunately, the counterfeit products pose potentially serious risks to the consumers because these counterfeits do not have the specifications of the original owners. By the time you decide you want to do this, when counterfeit come in, they come to bring in the fake, not the intention of the original owners of the product. So it has a potential risk to our lives, which in most cases has even turned fatal.
You're watching UCTV News. It's time now for Today in History. Thank you for being a part of this newscast. UCTV News takes a break and we'll be back shortly.
UCTV, good news for all.
Catch incredible stories of resilience, success.
You can manage that money
with a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the request show and sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a no car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
It's unbelievable. Now, companies, businesses, and organizations can make bulk payments easily with Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT to anyone without the need of a bank account, anywhere, anytime, just like that. The recipient needs only their phones, national ID, and token number received via SMS to withdraw money from any center agent nearby. The Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT is simple, secure, and convenient. You think it's too good to be true? Visit any of our branches countrywide or visit www.centenarybank.co.ug to know more. Centenary Bank. Centenary Bank is a member center group regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
UCTV, good news for all.
And with the Rome Reports segment, our news ends now. Do stay tuned to the Uganda Catholic Television. Sunday, Gloria Aboch. Wishing you a very good night.